Hello everybody and welcome to some more BTS EU series. We've got London Conspiracy versus Cookies. I'm Llama Down Under. It's a solo cast for the first game. We have someone coming in next. The lobby it went a little too fast, so we're gonna be alone. But let's get into it because we already have bans and picks flying out. These two teams pretty dang prepared. I think a lot of people are favoring London Conspiracy, but Cookies have shown us some good stuff. They're a mix of old Lemon Dogs guys, plus Kezu, who most people I think know as a player from Han, plus Pablo Gaming, who is pretty well known as a stand-in, and then London Conspiracy, of course, that old Princess Jalopy, who have been sponsored for a while now. So we've got Invoker and Bounty Hunter up on Cookies, plus Chen and OD. And despite picking up a Chen, London Conspiracy have not banned that Witch Doctor, instead going to ban the Faceless Void that a lot of teams like to pair up with the Invoker to get themselves the Exort Invoker. And the Darkseer, which sure, a hero that we've seen Kezu perform really well on in the past, but it's interesting that they do opt to not ban Witch Doctor, someone who's also very good against the Chen, and you know, great hero all around right now. Broodmother's gonna be the ban out from Cookies because if you don't draw out your lineup to deal with her, even having a Bounty Hunter, it's just not enough if your game doesn't have a lot of wave clear. So we will see. And then Oracle ban out, just a strong hero. I don't think that's telling us anything too much about their draft. It could also be why the no, it couldn't also be why the Doxy got banned out, because that's not how bans work. I was gonna say if the Oracle was banned first, but it wasn't when you look back at this. So the next pickup for Cookies, a lot of teams we've seen do try to keep their cores a bit more hidden. They might feel that they need to pick up someone like the Gyrocopter, like the Juggernaut, before London Conspiracy get it, since London Conspiracy could be going for a push draft, but they go with the Witch Doctor that we talked so much about. Always good against the Chen. A decent way to stop all of those creeps if they are going for a gank on the Invoker, or just later on in the game. Maybe Chen's creeps coming up past the tower, trying to get something set up on the back lines, and Witch Doctor can throw out that paralyzing cast. It stuns creeps for 5 seconds. So for London Conspiracy, they do go with the Gyrocopter. Personally seems like a bit of a block pick here. If you're facing a Chen and you don't have wave clear, the push can come very fast. Gyrocopter and OD maybe not known as super pushing heroes, but they're both heroes that do very well early on. They're very powerful then. So you can group up and push off the back of them. Gyro can roam the moment he has cooldown. You know, maybe somebody's having some trouble in one of their lanes. He just comes, drops a cooldown. You've suddenly won the lane and set up for a push. And for Cookies, it's going to be the Juggernaut we talked about. One of the other few very solid carries this game. Obviously, Spectre is another that's very popular right now, but there's not really going to be space, it looks like. Even the Juggernaut here, outside of that spin, a very kiteable hero, you can always spin up and then Omni slash the Gyrocopter, but there's the Astral Imprisonment to protect you. There's a lot of Chen creeps flying around. It's not so easy being a Juggernaut here.
Remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Now, London Conspiracy for the... I mean, they're digging into some reserve time. Hadn't looked at laning support. It's even possible they go with something like the Dazzle to buff up their lanes. Lion could work here, although a bit food-like. You want a support. The Chen can certainly buy a lot of wards, but it's nice if the Chen can get up the earlier mech, get ready for that push. And against a Bounty Hunter, you always need a support who can buy their own sentries. The cores are going to even potentially be having to buy dust, so you're going to want as much as you can to force that on a support. They can play really selflessly. And Dazzle's good. A whole lot. I mean, I think there are under 10 games of this in competitive Dota 2. But some teams do pick up both the Chen and the Enchantress, especially with a hero like Gyrocopter. Enchantress can be pretty dang good at zoning someone just with those auto attacks, and she's so hard to trade with Untouchable, or can just pop the healing wisps to win the trade with another support. And she'll certainly be able to push out a standard offlaner. But London Conspiracy taking ages on this pick, and it's an Earthshaker.
Dire team ban.
Could be their offlaner, could be the other support. It's a very greedy support. So I'm assuming offlaner. And it's not a super easy offlaner. Sure, you can lay down a fissure to stop Juggernaut from spinning on you, but
Radiant team ban.
it can still be really difficult. You're very easy to zone. You can't take much auto attack damage. Earthshaker's gonna need to come to lane with a lot of regen.
Seconds remaining.
But Cookies ban out the Skyrath.
5
Skyrath is
seconds
something
remaining.
the London Conspiracy guys play a lot. Very solid Zona.
Dire
For
team
offlaners, they could go with a Clockwork on Cookies, not someone who's been super popular, and actually the Nature's Prophet is banned out. Keizu, Cookies has picked that for Keizu a lot. I remember there was like a small tier 2 tournament that we were casting where Keizu only played the Nature's Prophet, and I didn't know who he was at the time. I was pulling stats from Dat Dota on him, and I was like, well, his last 5 games have been Nature's Prophet,
10 seconds
so
remaining.
I guess that's what he plays.
5 seconds remaining.
For Cookies, though, Clockwork could work here. It's not the greatest because there are a lot of Chen creeps that could get in your face, and hookshotting a Gyrocopter can be really painful. At the same time, the Blade Mail and the Clockwork really nice. It also can disrupt the push. I don't know that London Conspiracy is all in on that now. They've gotten themselves some late game, but it's going to be interesting to see what Cookies decide is their offlaner. They're really low on options, let's be honest. I mean, Broodmother, Faceless Void, Nature's Prophet, Doxia, Beast Monster, and Lone Druid, they're kind of the offlaners that are in vogue right now. So, wow, okay, they're really just burning through the draw-off time. Looking at some other synergies across the board, for Cookies, I do think the Juggernaut can go later than the Gyrocopter. 6 flat cannon shots. It's complicated with the Gyrocopter, right, to discuss his late game.
5 seconds
He can always pick
remaining.
up the Rapier, which
Enchantress.
isn't bad at all. I forgot about Enchantress entirely, even though I talked about her as a support on the other team. Obviously, a good pickup. We're gonna see Creep Domination Wars. Always hilarious. I mean... And if London Conspiracy do try to pick up a support that's good for pushing to tie it together, like the Dazzle, then of course the Enchantress can be really helpful to get rid of some of those Chen creeps that are pushing. But right now,
10
Cookie's lineup
seconds
looks
remaining.
pretty well-rounded. Has some good team fight, obviously, with
5
the Omni
seconds
Slash with all of
remaining.
Invoker's toolkit. But then also should be able to take favorable trades. When you have a bounty
Reserve
hunter on your
time.
side, once the track is up, you don't need to take more heroes. You can trade 2 for 2, sometimes depending on the level of the track, even you can lose out in an engagement, but you'll be ahead on gold, which is a lot of what matters. And London Conspiracy do end up going with a really easy to sack support. Bane doesn't need a lot of items. It's great if he has them. You would love to have up that Aether Lens or the Glimmer Cape up early, but if you can't get that, you'll be fine not getting too much and just picking up smoke, dusts, sentries, wards. You're a very selfless support. Now, this game actually booty for picking up a Glimmer Cape. It's a double-edged sword. Obviously, against Invoker, Glimmer Capes are great. Can also screw over a Juggernaut Omni Slash. But when there's a bounty hunter on the other team, part of the effectiveness of the Glimmer Cape, of course, is being invisible, helping you escape. Solemn may just go for... Solemn may end up just going for the good old Aether Lens first, or even other team fight items. We had a really interesting discussion with 1437 when we were casting MDL, where basically it's a lot of player preference in which players pick up the Aether Lens, because while it's a good item to buff up your hero, it's not seen as an item that really improves your team versus how Glimmercape can help your teammates, a mech helps your teammates. I expect the Guardian Greaves and the mech to come out on the Bounty Hunter, but we'll see exactly how the laning phase goes, because of course, depending on who ends up getting big on cookies, you know, maybe there's some weird accident of fate and this witch doctor gets very fat. Who knows? Let's introduce the players and then we can do some more item discussions. We have got Solon on that Bane. Jalopy playing that Gyrocopter. Chen going to be played up by Bibber, Baby Knight on the Outward Devourer. And Kefka, who can only actually play Tusk, so we'll see how this Earthshaker goes. Playing up on Earthshaker. On Cookies, we've got Pablo playing the Witch Doctor. Lens on Juggernaut. Invoker going to be played by Eskil. Enchantress, of course, played by Kezu. And Steph Style on that Bounty Hunter. So, Bounty Hunter already doing some early scouting. He's gone for an Orb of Venom. Doesn't have sentries of his own. A little bit unconventional. Yeah, he doesn't have sentries. Nobody on his team has sentries. What? Sure. Okay. They do have sentries on the Chen, so the play here, a lot of times we'll see the mid actually start with their own set of sentries to just drop the moment the Bounty Hunter is a pain. And speaking of being a pain, Steph Style and Solon doing some trading here. But in this case, Chen is going to come through the mid lane if there's any problems with the Bounty Hunter. And Steph Style has seen that Bane doesn't have any detection. Will the timings be right on this? Steph Style will end up taking a Brain Sap, gets in another auto attack, may even just get the kill on Solon here, knows that there's no Brain Sap, the Chen isn't coming on over, Solon gonna try for the deny, oh my goodness, Bounty Hunter just gets it with the Orb of Venom.
First blood, bag and tag.
Not what I was expecting at all. And so, that's a great start for a Bounty Hunter. Halfway to level 2 already. Bounty Hunter's problem in lane is that he is roaming so much, he often can't make stuff happen. Now, of course, he's going to be a bit low on regen. And we do have a Rocket coming out onto Kezu. Rocket Barrage doesn't care about your Untouchable, but Kezu has skilled up the Healing Wisps and Enchant, and now they're going on Jalopy. They know he shouldn't have another Rocket Barrage. Steph Style burns a lot of that. The dust does come out, though. They might be able to catch this with auto attacks. Steph Style needs to juke here. There is a Brain Sap with his name on it, and he manages to get away. Jalopy even taking some tower damage. That's pretty painful when you dive and you end up taking tower damage, although in the mid lane, they're all going to lose Eskil to Chen ganking. Okay, this one set up to be a bloodbath already. Obviously, with a Chen and a Gyrocopter, you're expecting a lot of aggression. Wasn't already expecting a kill a minute. Usually takes us a few minutes to pick up to the 2 kills a minute that we get sometimes in European Dota.
Gotcha.
So taking a glance up at top lane where we hadn't seen too much, Earthshaker does go and get the illusion, probably hoping for a bounty, but the Juggernaut pretty much free farm up here. That's what's going to happen. Earthshaker, he's not a bad offlaner, but he doesn't fill the role that a lot of other offlaners like the Darkseer, like a Tusk fill, where they actually disrupt the farm. Kind of just leeches experience and hopes to occasionally get a lost hit here and there, so that he can get up an early Blink Dagger earlier than he would as a support, not actually often very early, which is sad but true. We're seeing them give it a go onto the OD. Has the Astral Imprisonment. Gonna use it on himself, of course, but Eskil is here. Has a Sunstrike. That's gonna hit. Baby Knight, though, still fine since Chen comes in, so not gonna actually secure the kill. And now they have dropped a sentry in mid. Bounty Hunter might know that this is down here. Enchantress actually the one rocking those sentries on her team. Yeah, Bounty Hunter will realize quickly now that there is a sentry in mid. They're going to give it another go onto Baby Knight. Even with a sentry being here and so much support coming around, there is a lot of harassment going down. Invoker working hard to win back this lane after that early death. And it's actually paying off. The forced support rotations. Bane's now going to have to walk all the way back down to bottom. Enchantress is 11 and 3. You know, compared to the Gyro that had support of the Bane for the first minute and a half, this Enchantress already has very close to his lost hits. So, doing well there. Now, speaking of when these lineups peak, London Conspiracy, despite picking the Chen, didn't decide to go for a push strat. It's pretty flexible. It's going to be something where they can just look for advantageous team fights and push off the back of that. Odie is really strong right now. Into Cookie's lineup, there are a couple of int heroes. That's another great reason for the Enchantress offlane. She's not maybe going to suffer as not much from the Sanity's Eclipse because it is difficult for a Baby Knight to smack her around with the Arcane Orb due to Untouchable. But, you know, maybe this Odie gets off to a good start. If Chen comes out and they get another gank on this Invoker, the int differential will just be there because Odie will have items and the Enchantress will not. So I think both sides just looking for good team fighting. And Chen doesn't have sentries, but Steph style, was standing right underneath one. So Steph style, albeit started with a kill, hasn't been able to get another one since, but has put out some decent harass on the OD. Invoker is now out, lost hitting him. Which, sure, Invoker has Forge Spirits, but it should be a little bit closer, especially with the Chen rotations. But Skill just having a bit of a better time here. And of course, the thing that London Conspiracy do need to watch out for is this Juggernaut on the top lane. Freeform. Earthshaker does have level 4, which is pretty dang nice. Considering how squishy of a support he is, it's an improvement, but other than, you know, we just saw a fissure there. Flens didn't even miss a lost hit off the back of that. And now Kefka has to back on out. He's going to lose out on a potential level of experience here on his journey home. Pablo as well. I don't see any stacks coming out in their jungle. Pablo opting to attempt to zone the Earthshaker as opposed to going for stacks. And this ward hasn't seen these rotations, so there is potential to get something done. Bounty Hunter being a real pain here. We've got the creeps being shown by Kezu, so they're not going to get a gank on mid off the back of this, which of course has freed up some space for the Gyrocopter, who's now picked up way ahead of the Enchantress with his supports rotating back.
The doctor will see you.
Jalopy, level 6, picks up a TP. Oh, they do manage to pick off the Bounty Hunter down there. Viver picking up a dust. And now Pablo staying really close. He actually is very close to smoke breaking range. He's backing on out, trying to make sure his smoke isn't broken. They only have this ward for so long. He's going for it. His smoke is going to break. Oh, but the Chen comes in. He has to go in and help for this. He's going to throw out the bouncing coconuts. They're going to do a lot of damage onto Viva. The Astral Imprisonment already used. They get the coconut bounces they need, and the Sunstrike going to be what gets the kill. A nice play there. Steph Style comes in. Should know that there's a sentry here, so I think that'll be it, but the sentry just expires. Everybody sees that, and on the top lane, they get a kill on the Earthshaker. No more aggression in mid. Just an Omni Slash into a spin, keeping Flem Style away from being fissured. So a nice exchange there for Cookies. All things considered though, this game still really dang close. A little bit more farm coming out on Cookies, but we are within the acceptable kill range. And Flen's getting a solo kill on the Earthshaker up there. Always an impressive feat when you're alone. Gyrocopter has TP'd home to base, was taking a lot of damage in bottom, it looks like, from Kezu, who has picked up this level 6. Enchantress, she'll build into a Dragon Lance and then the Aghanim Scepter. We occasionally see some of the support Enchantresses, very rarely maybe build up. Oh, she's actually going to build up bots and... Oh, not bots. Oh, we're seeing an engagement onto Steph Style. You are dusted. Goodbye, Bounty Hunter. And poor Steph Style falls again. Only level 3.
Are fortified.
So hasn't been able to find the kills that he wants.
Radiant's bottom tower is
She's
under
building
attack.
treads and then a drums. We see this sometimes on Enchantress. Most likely the Dragon Lance will come out next. It's a lot of player preference there, and the ex-Lemon Dog guys, always a team that loves
Radiant's
picking up the
bottom tower
drums.
has fallen.
Invoker's going to have a late Midas here, but considering his lane, considering he's died once, it's not great. He picked up a lot of items before going for the Midas. Oh, we have an engagement onto Kezu. Jalopy has already used the cooldown. Kezu's going to Healing Wisp up and wander away. Should be fine and safe under that tower. Midas you generally want before 9 minute. You ideally want it even sooner. This game hasn't been an easy one for Cookies to set up the Sunstrikes onto people. Eskill actually going for no points in that Wex. I think correctly identifying that even if he had the Ghost Walk, it wouldn't be saving him in this game, since the supports have expended a lot of gold picking up Dust and Sentries. Deathstyle will walk right on top of a sentry against Deathstyle. There are folks coming in for you. There's a cooldown with your name on it, and he goes down. This bounty hunter not having an easy life. You can argue that it's worth it from the standpoint of bounty hunter has forced them to buy a lot of detection items, but I mean, you want a level 6 at 12 minutes in the latest. This is going to be level 6, maybe 14 minutes in. Baby Knight taking some harassment, has the Astral Imprisonment up. This doesn't stop the Cold Snap being procced by the Forge Spirits. And S-Kill... Okay, the all are healed. God's Hand comes out. So S-Kill... Oh goodness, Kezu going down on the bottom lane.
Punishment for your sins.
I'm not sure at all what the Enchantress was doing there, to be honest. It looks like from the all are healed may have come out... Oh! Okay, OD goes down. Deathstyle gets something done. Finally hits that level 4. It looks like Enchantress was down there trying to just harass, but that's really far out at 10 minutes into the game. Yes, you've taken a tier 1, not super safe. We might see Kefka fall back to the jungle, a place for a lot more sure farm. And even though this Earthshaker hasn't been getting the most farm, when we take a look on the net worth chart, you can see that he is able to get up that level 6. Enchantress will be affording a lot of units. She goes down again on the bottom lane. Witch Doctor's TP way too late. And I believe she just TP'd in for that. They do have a ward, of course, showing all of this movement, but that's actually really problematic for Kezu. 2 deaths in short succession. She's suddenly gonna fall behind on the levels. She's behind the Chen all of a sudden. And they have no method of stopping this push. If Enchantress were down here, they could at least trade, grab some creeps up, but right now, no such luck. And again, S-Kill doing a lot of harassment onto the OD. He's way out leveling the OD. He should have the Midas up as of now, but just not enough.
Top tower is under attack.
Enough from the standpoint of he hasn't had maybe the most impact. Oh, that'll work, Bounty Hunter. He hasn't had the most impact from a getting kill perspective, and that was a later Midas. Bounty Hunter gets their courier though. Taking a look on it, we'll see. It was empty, was returning from a trip. But of course, Chen still has a bunch of creeps. His don't expire while Enchantresses do. And suddenly the mid push is coming. They've got a really nice ward up here. Bane doesn't have the level 6, but again, Kezu full cooldown. She's dead. Goodbye, Enchantress. They just have Enchantress's number here. Yeah, they've got to. You got to treat creep causing tornado. That's not going to be nearly enough. And part of this, of course, has to fall to the supports. When we see the ward vision coming out, we can see it's a little bit minimal from the lineup of Cookies. They just weren't expecting London Conspiracy to be there, and some wards checking their river would have seen those rotations. Or a ward here even would have seen the smoke up. Mid gonna be taken, ideally exchanged for off lane. The glyph does come out. They should get this top tower. Of course, top tower not as important. This tower is actually arguably the least important in the game. It doesn't affect your control of Roche like the off lane Dire tower does, and it doesn't save your jungle like of course these 2 towers do, and the mids arguably. But all of those favorable exchanges for London Conspiracy gonna bring the net worth chart back down to 0 for them. Almost have the mech up on the Chen, which is really great because Cookies, given the farm, like this bounty hunt is actually okay when it comes to farm. He just really needs that level 6. We'll hopefully get it in here mid, but he's nowhere near a mech, and so now Cookies are fighting into a mech. They have the healing ward, they have some points in Voodoo Restoration, but it's just not equivalent as that burst damage from the mech. Or burst heal from the mech, erasing some of your burst damage. Also, the Hand of God makes life painful. Flynn's gonna TP out to where the farm is, and now the push in mid is coming. Kezu's picked himself up. That Dark Troll Summoner. The cooldown, though, gonna get rid of all of these babies. Goodbye, children! Enchantress has to say. And things while things early game I think were working out quite nicely for the Enchantress, she's fallen behind the net worth of the Earthshaker. That is just not where an Enchantress is meant to be. She has a much easier time farming than an Earthshaker does. So we're going to see the game stall out a little bit here. I think a lot of this is they need to wait for Steph Style to have that level 6. Once it's there, they can take these engagements, and also waiting for Juggernaut to have level 11. This makes it 6 slashes in the Omni Slash. It's really painful to play up against a Chen with only 3. Also, at only 3, if you're ever in a 5v5 engagement, you're not killing one person even, because the RNG luck of getting it all on one person, the fact that about the time that you'll hit level 10, a lot of people can survive that. They're gonna be able to de-ward. I believe Cookies have seen that sentry be placed because of their sentry placement, but no, it's not gonna be enough. They do not have something to stop it. Echo Slam comes out, so many low heroes. The cooldown, where is it? It's not there yet because of where the Jalopy is, but now he's coming in for it. They have a lot of low heroes on Cookies. They do manage to get out the Bounty Hunter, so a favorable engagement for them. Bounty Hunter still not level 6. Considering the Echo Slam was used there as well, those Healing Wisps doing overtime for Enchantress. A really excellent decision to max them here. Not only is the Untouchable not as good because Enchantress has been able to deftly avoid the OD, but there's a lot of magical damage re the Echo Slam. Wow. Sanity's Eclipse. Having the Healing Wisps, just hoping that they'll heal you up inside of those engagements is worth it. So, Cookies get a favorable trade and can get to go back to farming. Maybe Enchantress can find her way back into this game. As we said, Dragon Lance the expected item out of her, but both this Juggernaut and the Invoker may be considering EKBs early on. Yeah, we do have double drums again. No? Okay, Enchantress hasn't finished her drums yet, but old Lemon Dogs love to go multiple drums on a team. It's not bad. There's a couple of things about drums having 2 up that can be perfectly acceptable. One, it's an excellent stack item early game. For its cost, it gives you fantastic stats. The other thing is the charges are really good for pushing. Obviously, they increase your attack speed, so even popping one now to ensure that you get the Roche faster so that they don't manage to find out about it on London Conspiracy, even just that can be enough. So, having 2 up. We'll see whether Enchantress actually goes back for it or whether it's a casual bracer, but it's not uncommon to see on both the Invoker and the Enchantress. Either way, Cookies get themselves an Aegis with no contest from London Conspiracy, putting themselves back into another good position. Invoker might be saving up for a blink here or just going straight Ags. A lot of Invokers save up a lot of players in general save up a lot of gold. It's a mechanism to basically keep the other team guessing. They won't know what you're picking up. And you get to have arguably an element of surprise when maybe a blink or something pops out. Top tower will be lost. If they can get the trade in middle, that'll make it worth it. And the track is up. Bounty Hunter knows all about Jalopy here. He's going to drop the cooldown onto the creep wave. We've got TP rotations in as well because they realize that a solo gyrocopter, very squishy, especially without cooldown. He goes for the deny. He gets it. Really well played there from Jalopy. And with these rotations in, it doesn't look like Cookies are going to get the kill on the remaining folks on London Conspiracy. So
Dire's top tower is under attack.
okay, yeah, I think Eskil is buying out full Aghanim Scepter. In the meantime, Earthshaker, Kefka, going for the Tranquils and the Soul Ring instead of the Arcanes we see so often. That puts him almost to his blink. If they don't get a kill on him soon, he's getting a sub 20-minute blink. And that's actually good for an offlaner. It's not stellar, of course, you always want that thing earlier than later, but for an offlaner where you don't get much farm, especially an offlaner against those heroes, the Witch Doctor and the Juggernaut, it's damn near fantastic. Gyrocopter's rocking that Sanj and Yasha. Baby Knight decides to opt for a 4-star. Makes a lot of sense here against it. Okay, so it's a double-edged sword against the Enchantress. This is a gank. Hello, says Juggernaut, and he is going to try to spin away. It does mean he gets to avoid some of those procs. He's in the Astral Imprisonment. The Dire's courier is being killed. That is an interesting turn of events, and Flens is just dead. Doesn't bother to use the Omni Slash, knows with so many units around, it's not going to work out. Now they've gone for the TP rotations down bottom as well. The cooldown still at the ready, so Jalopy can drop that if they feel so inclined. The Sunstrike, it's going to hit on creeps. No, it does manage to hit up on the Bane, but he gets that frame of invincibility, and now Pablo taking a lot of damage. He goes down. Eskil on the run, does have Ghost Walk at the ready. No dust between these two, so Eskil is going to wander away. Jalopy has a good idea of where he is, but the Bane most likely unable to catch on up.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
At the same time, a series of very unfavorable trades for Cookies. They didn't get any kills there. They lost their core. They're going to lose their top tier 2. Although the TPs are going out. There's going to be a shuriken. It stops both of their TPs. You couldn't want anything better here if you're Steph style. But the double Hadoken and Eskil getting very low there. He does end up going down. They get the track kill. Whether that's worth it, questionable. And Chen did send back the OD. So always something you have to be aware of. Stopping TPs against this lineup, not enough. But as I say that, this is a 1k gold swing, right? Off of one track kill. And that was for when they were even in net worth, that is. That's pretty good. So, Dragonlance up on the OD. Something we see occasionally. It could just be... I don't think this is a case of you disassemble it into the BKB. Could be from Baby Knight. We see ODs pick this up a lot, especially when they're paired with someone like the Faceless Void, who you really want to make sure you have the range to hit inside of the Chronosphere. I wouldn't say it's something we see a huge amount otherwise, but okay, goodbye to Steph Style. Again, walking under a sentry, just takes the Fiend Grip and goes down.
I'm not always so bleak. My thanks. Yes.
Kefka's actually really rich considering his start. Oh, Juggernaut just gonna run away. He can't fight. I mean, he's gone for a Battle Fury. It's not worse than a Sanjanyasha. He's got it up at a normal timing for a Juggernaut. Just Juggernaut doesn't get a super early one because you actually build, unlike the Anti-Mage and so on, where you rush the Battle Fury, you often on the Juggernaut finish up the Aquila and so on because you know you might be fighting Kezu, actually in a dangerous position. The Nightmare, not quite in range. Kefka goes for the stun off the mark. And that may just free them up for the mid-tower push. Invoker has picked up most of the components for the Aghanim Scepter. Hasn't been able to get it yet, though. He is, like, one last hit away from it. Unfortunately, on the bottom part of that map, they have no courier. So even though Invoker's gonna have this full... Oh, actually, he has it. Sorry, I'm an idiot. I didn't see the point booster on him. Just looking at his gold. You know, sometimes, this is why Solo calls them solid, but they're not going to be able to stop this push. The tower's gone. Cookies only have one tier 2 left. And this is the nice flexibility of London Conspiracy's lineup. They have decent push. They have good team fight with the Echo Slam and all of the stuff that... Oh, okay. Steph Style just out of range of that dust. I am pretty sure we heard a dust go off. So really well played there for him. Probably Biver's lost dust from this slot. But this is the strength of London Conspiracy's lineup. It has good push, it has good team fight, and until Cookies come online, they just don't have the wave clear necessary. Enchanters can enchant one creep that's coming from the push. Invoker can Midas one as well. That's about it right now for their wave clear. Spin is okay, but right now the damage, the right-click damage coming out of London Conspiracy makes Spin a little scary to use. On the good news, Invoker has an Ag Scepter up. He is ready to rumble. Again, not sure if he'll pick up the Blink next or Octarine. It's really flexible. It comes down to Invoker's choice. Player's choice? We'll say player's choice. It really comes down to player's choice what you're going to go for. OD, on the other hand, also saved up a lot. This could be straight Sheepstick, of course, wanting to get more of that int differential up to make Sanity's Eclipse work even harder. Could be, I don't think we'll see a refresher this early on OD. It's actually something we see in games that go later with the OD to keep up the effectiveness of the Sanity's Eclipse, but not really something I'm expecting 23 minutes in, but you got the farm for it.
Radiant's top tower is under
Expecting
attack.
that to become an early sheepstick, maybe a Shiva's God, because they are up against... showed that creep. They are up against some good right-clicking heroes. So. Flans has finished off the Sange and Yasha. The farm's going to be really good on the Juggernaut, of course, because of the Battle Fury, and with their career back up, they can actually ferry out the items they have. And Pablo working on that Aghanim Scepter. We used to see some Witch Doctors go for the Aether Lens when it first came out, but now that it doesn't have the magic resistance, it does feel like the Aghanim Scepter rush on the Witch Doctor is still the best thing to do. He may go back for it afterwards because it can really help his positioning in a team fight, which is also important, especially against the Earthshaker, the OD, the Bane, all heroes who have ways to stop the Death Ward from coming out. Other than that, this game incredibly even. It's slowed down a lot. We don't have a whole heap of kills despite both of these teams being good at team fighting. Why was all healed popped? Okay, Chen just wanted to heal up his creeps, apparently. Enchantress was, I think, attacking someone, but nothing to write home about. For me, a big question is, how long until this Bane just buys up a gem? Considering Elsie's map control, when we take a look, they've got decent vision here. They could certainly get rid of all of the vision. Oh, okay, Flens has to be careful here. Gonna spin and just TP away. Considering the map control right now coming out from London Conspiracy, a gem, of course, good against the Bounty Hunter, but just also good to take out some of these wards since you'll be roaming around seeing them. And, I mean, Cookies, you can see it from Flyn's positioning. They have Witch Doctor farming the jungle. They have the Witch Doctor farming the jungle because they don't mind losing the Witch Doctor. They're putting the Juggernaut somewhere safer because of their vision.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
In the meantime, Cookie's just looking to give up bottom tower again without a fight. They're ahead right now when it comes to the farm on their cores, but banking it all on the high ground, not the easiest of things. Aegis will be or the Roche will be respawning too soon. I guess the Aegis technically respawns too as well. I don't know, I guess Roche reclaims it when dead. It's neither here nor there. EMP gonna completely whiff because the tornado misses. We are getting a lot of tracks out on people. This is a high ground push without Aegis coming out from London Conspiracy. And we'll see. If this goes wrong, it's gonna swing a lot of gold to Cookies. They're still going for it on the lineup of London Conspiracy. I'm really surprised they're going for this without an Aegis. They're gonna get rid of Enchantress's creep. All this time, we do see Flens pushing out their bottom tower, and yeah, London Conspiracy gonna back on out. For them, fantastic timing. Roshan just respawned. Flens also aware that they've backed, so not gonna show in lane. He's gone for a Blink Dagger. Could be really powerful here to jump onto the back lines of London Conspiracy and get the Omni Slash off. You can ideally jump, you know, maybe they're positioned like this, you can jump over to these two and get them and not have to worry about the Chen creeps. They know about this. They started doing the Roshan while Track was still on Baby Knight. So Cookies know. They're just not in position to contest it. They're gonna give up the Aegis for free as well. This is putting a lot of faith in your high ground defense for Cookies. Trying to... I'm really surprised by Cookies' play right here. They're gonna start to fall behind on the... because of the towers and so on, and they might be ahead on experience since London Conspiracy has grouped up and Flens has been able to be off farming, but it is a choice to trade away the Aegis without a fight. So, Flens is going to TP home at the last moment and come into this fight. In the meantime, the rest of his team, they do have decent wave clear with the Invoker. As much as I'm hemming and hawing about this decision, they do actually have good high ground defense. The Maledict does come out. Baby Knight already taking a lot of damage. The Fissure stops the Death Ward after almost only 2 ticks. Call down. Gonna happen on Steph Style. He is blown up immediately. No more tracks coming out. And London Conspiracy may just wait the next wave. They're all pretty healthy. They still have the Hand of God at the ready. Cookies need to pull some sort of cat out of the bag. Pretty much they need to pull out the perfect EMP tornado to stall this for as long as they can. The Bounty Hunter's not amazing, but he's always a good hero to have. Up, rockets flying onto Flens. He's going to probably just take that, making sure to position himself far enough back that it doesn't matter. And the tower is at half health. They have the lineup where they can siege this slowly, but Baby Knight deciding to TP out, so that indicates the push is done. And London Conspiracy, not getting that tower doesn't put them as ahead as you might expect, and gives Cookies more time to build up items that'll deal with these Chen creeps, deal with the OD. I have to say, it's probably the BKB next on the Juggernaut. Well, I would like to see the BKB next. Flens probably knows better than me and will pick up whatever he wants. But BKB really helps here. It's, of course, not, it doesn't save you from the Fiends group, but it saves you from the Echo Slam. It's going to save you from the Arcane Orbs, because you can't target Magic Immune units. Sanity's Eclipse as well, which, by the way, entirely possible I just haven't caught it on camera, but we have not seen a Sanity's Eclipse. I feel like we've seen 2 Fiends groups, maybe 3. We're just, I mean, these teams just aren't touching each other much. They're avoiding team fights. Which is rather uncharacteristic, since I think both of these lineups do have good single solo pick-off potential, but the players have been very good about their positioning. Very few people getting caught out.
Gotcha.
In the meantime, Stuff Style, important to note, he is only level 9, so this track is level 1. Even if they fail a high ground push from London Conspiracy, it's not nearly as punishing as some other, as if the Bounty Hunter were higher level. We've also got S-Kill, level 16, so you know, he's the cat's meow on that Invoker now. You can argue with some of the nerfs to Invoker, he does definitely still... Obviously, Invoker a hero that gets better with levels. What I'm trying to say is, I think he hits a good point, being ahead like this, being on par with the OD, but always, you know, level 25, a thing of beauty. And Cookie's actually going to return the push some. It's going to be the butterfly up on the gyrocopter. I'm not sure if this has been seen in the lane. I don't think it delivered while the gyro was in lane, although this ward may have seen it. So Cookies may have called that out. And if they did, Juggernaut may forego the BKB in favor of an MKB. Because you can't reliably get all the Omni Slashes off on Jalopy. He's going to be playing so close to his team. So you can't count on that to kill him. And unless the Invoker gets him down as well, I mean, this Gyrocopter has 1.7, oh, almost 1800 health actually. He's not an easy target. Someone attempting to get some Fiend's Grip action up in this top lane, gonna fail. Gonna take actually a lot of damage from the Forge Spirits. And this one returning to the Fallen Fest that it is. Lost kill was a while ago. Over 5 minutes. These teams just don't want to fight. It really does surprise me, because when you draft a Bounty Hunter, I mean, Bounty Hunter's strength is in when you kill other heroes, you get that bounty. There's nothing complicated about this, folks. So I think Cookie's not exactly doing what they drafted for, but I understand how they feel in their position in the game. Aghanim Scepter is picked up on the Witch Doctor, though. If the Fissure doesn't come out in time, this Witch Doctor is going to get off an amazing ult next team fight. Vlad's is up on the Chen, working on the Ag Scepter. It no longer gives the reduced CD, but having Ancients, another thing that Cookies will have trouble clearing, because they can't even use Invoker spells to get rid of those creeps. Gonna be really helpful. The Force Staff and the Ghost Scepter been up for a while on Kefka. And Gyrocopter, it feels like he just picked up that Butterfly, already has another 2k in the bank. What is this guy? Never gonna stop. Aghanim's also up on Kezu. Does end up just being the casual bracer. Unlike the rest of Lemon Dogs, is not a fan of the double drums. And, I mean, we're not quite there yet. But one big team fight could just be what breaks this game wide open. Both sides have decent defense against one lane of supers, maybe even two. Since Gyrocopter, of course, is flat cannon, and we do see a Battle Fury on the Juggernaut, but It's not ideal. And I think it just comes down to neither team want to blink. London Conspiracy, it looks like, going to be forced to wait for the next Roshan. A smoke does come out of cookies. They have more of these in stock, and they oh, fantasy. Was that fantasy points? No, that's not fantasy points. Okay, I was gonna say we don't use that chart much because it's just like way too many numbers. It's like, oh yeah. They're not gonna find anyone with this smoke. I think that ward may have scattered it, but also just London Conspiracy. They're pushing up the top lane. There's no contest there. They have to be careful. They go for a smoke of their own. We finally see some action here.
I'll take that as tribute.
Kefka running ahead. Cookies are a little bit split up here. And Steph Style trying to get on out. I think Cookies also realizing something is up. That there's no push on their top. And an engagement will be completely avoided. Because this game, not one to have people's faces get murdered. BKB is what Juggernaut picks up next. I think a fantastic pickup here, not just because it's what I suggested, but obviously there's a lot of spells that can be avoided here. A lot of damage, predominantly what the Juggernaut's worrying about. I imagine he will feel compelled to go for the MKB next, since there is a butterfly on the gyrocopter. But Scotty, also not an awful choice, and a pretty standard one that we see up on the Juggernaut. Lots of stats, a decent amount of damage, of course not as much damage as the MKB, but the stats really help you out, the survivability, and then of course there's the attack modifier, which in the Omni Slash it can proc on those regular attacks in between the Omni Slash, in case you folks don't know about that. You can also use spells during Omni Slash, so if the game goes late enough, we'll probably see Abyssal start to come out, and it's always funny to see the Omni Slash come out. You can't use spells, sorry, you can use items. You can't use spells, only items. And so you'll see the Abyssal Blade sometimes come out. Difficult to do, I've seen it once or twice. And we're paused. Bladder issues. Excellent. Always fun. This, I mean, this is a slow one. I'm gonna tell you a story. One time, in one of my very early casts, I'd never casting out of my own Twitch channel for the Join Dota League, and it was like an hour and a half long match, and I need to go to the bathroom, but like it was very similar to this match. There hadn't been an engagement for what, we're over 10 minutes now without a kill. Yeah. No, we're a little shy of 10 minutes. Okay, I'm wrong. So, yeah, and then of course the moment I go to the bathroom, the big fight breaks out. But for these teams, I think it's just a case of, I mean, nobody wants to blink. It makes a lot of sense. You don't want to give away your advantage that you've worked so hard for. And London Conspiracy, they're in the driver's seat. They have the map control when we take a look around. You can see that they have a very aggressive ward up. Still a little surprised they haven't picked up a gem for anyone. I think they're worried about giving it over to the bounty hunter. So these things are fine. But anyway, it's just a slow one. And yeah, we'll have, oh no, they do have a gem on S-Kill. Surely that's not a stolen gem. They've picked up a gem themselves on Cookies. I really like this. You need map control to win games, and a game like this, having the map control allows you to farm, because both teams are down, tier 2s, and London Conspiracy do feel like they're in the driver's seat, but it just takes getting rid of some of those wards to turn these things around. Also, you need, what's the right thing to say? You need the vision in the team fights. It helps with the Glimmer Capes. It's not a big thing. It helps making sure you destroy the sentries so your bounty hunt is not in trouble. The Cookies need to take the next Roshan. It'll help them a lot. It'll get them outside of their base. It means they can high ground push. Both teams have amazing high ground defense. We haven't seen it out of London Conspiracy yet, because Cookies haven't left their side of the map for a while, except for that smoke. But, of course, Echo Slam, terrifying. Echo Slam into a few smacks from OD into a Sanity's Eclipse, also terrifying. But all of this... all of this a moot point if they don't actually walk down this path. Oh, and the Roshan, it respawns, so we're gonna be seeing that happen. Cookies know about it, so they're headed straight towards it. We're gonna have a team fight. Gotta get my coffin done beforehand. They throw out the tornado. They're only gonna hit onto the OD. The EMP should hit the OD as well, but of course he just immediately Essence Auras it back up, and they've got the Aegis. Suddenly, Cookies, they cannot fight here. And they're just gonna go back to where we were 15 minutes ago. Because that's, well, at 23 minutes, I think the last Roshan was taken. I mean, that's the state of the game. It's going to go back to that. Both sides having excellent high ground defense. So, meanwhile, Pablo has the Ags up, which is Enchantress. That's the same items. Surprisingly, for the lack of engagements, right, this is actually really impressive on both sides. A lot of the times when we see these big GPMs on heroes, it's because they're also getting a lot of kills. This game, not a lot of kills, and still we're seeing close to 600 GPM on both the Gyrocopter and the Juggernaut. Of course, that's also something where we're 37 minutes into the game. It's easier to get higher GPMs because you're actually farming, but you know what? I'll give it to these players. It's good. It's good. It's well done.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, checking buyback status. Interestingly, we only have... okay. They know that Steph Style is there, I think. But not really wanting... oh. Okay, they don't have a gem up yet. So Steph Style is just like looking at them hungrily, wishing he could do enough damage to murder someone's face. And then sadly walking away because he's a level 10 bounty hunter 38 minutes in. This is the other reason the lack of kills is really painful. Bounty Hunter's entire job, as we discussed earlier, it's to get kills. Your hero is built to get kills. Your hero does nothing... well, you can arguably itemize to do other things, but your hero really does nothing else than get kills, and you're not getting them right now. So he is level 10. And the Witch Doctor's level 12. I mean... it's not an easy game for Cookie's supports.
Under attack.
So, with that, we go back to the Farm Fest that was scheduled for this morning. We do see the Satanic finished on Gyrocopter. He is really hard to kill. He can use this to get a second wind out before the Aegis. I mean, depending on how you use this, it's a 35-second cooldown. You can actually save the Aegis, and we do see another smoke come out of Cookies. They do have another smoke on cooldown. Oh, they're going for it. They're gonna find the OD here. Oh, they turn him into a piggy. That's Eskill's new item. They're going in on him. This OD has Astral Imprisonment, pops the BKB instead, but the Omni Slash, all the hits onto him. And finally, something happening in this game. There's an Echo Slam here. There's an Echo Slam with everybody's name on it. Kefka, he has the blink up. The spin comes out, so he's not gonna go for it. Steph Style, tracking folks up. Kefka still has an Echo Slam. There are a lot of creeps here. Chen recalls his entire army. And Cookies... they decide against pressuring. They don't know that OD doesn't have buyback. A lot of teams, different teams, I won't say a lot of teams. Another team may have pressured here to force out the OD buyback and then found it was lacking. But as we talked about, really hard to push into the Earthshaker. And with that, they go back to farming. Oh yeah, guys. The MKB will be what's coming out of Juggernaut. He has... problems because he is technically... so you can upgrade the shoes into bots. Maybe you ditch the Sandan Yasha for a bigger item, and by maybe I mean you ditch the Sandan Yasha for a bigger item. The move speed boost is the only thing it's giving you over other stat building items. I don't know about the Battle Fury just because you have a Chen that you're up against. I don't know how good it is. Oh, Sunstrike, they're gonna try to give it a go on Bither. No, they're not. I lied. It was just the casual harassment Sunstrike. I thought maybe they'd want to do something. But, I mean, it was a dangerous place. The rest of London Conspiracy, it turned out, were just hanging around there, doing their thing. And with that... oh. Please, Jen. Now, Baby Knight as well. Probably gonna get bots and a Shiva. Might also get rid of the Dragon Lance. Dragon Lance is great and all. It's great for positioning in team fights, but obviously you would trade it out for bigger in items. It might even be worth, for a Baby Knight, it would be pick up either the Yules or Lincoln's is so dumpy here. Because Lincoln's gives you good stats as well, but this late into the game, it's super dumpy against Cookies' lineup. I actually really like a Lotus Orb on the lineup of London Conspiracy, since of course it returns a lot of stuff. Was that just a casual Hand of God again? Let's just make sure everything's full health, guys. Don't want to lose my Ancient Golem. It gives the HP boost, I think. Yeah, you give the HP boost. Frenzy Creep, actually really nice to have here. In case you folks haven't kept up with the patch notes, please don't. This guy, not that one. That thing. Actually, super helpful. It's got only an 8-second cooldown and it lasts for the 8 seconds, so you can have 100% uptime. 75 bonus attack speed is fantastic. The OD can knock down the tower, the Gyrocopter can knock down the tower. And they're positioning as if they want to go for it. Now, you know what I would like to see here? Both teams just continuing their streak of non-aggression against each other. Just see who pushes faster. That would answer an age-old question. I'd love to see, does Alacrity beat Frenzy on the Thunderhide? Which, that name always reminds me of World of Radiance, but either way, finally, action! Pushing Jalopy has a DD, wants to use up that DD, pretty much, that's what he's going for there. Because of course the Aegis has expired, and all of London Conspiracy back on out, gonna go deal with the wave at their bottom tower. 43 minutes in, nobody willing to blink. I feel like Cookies with a loss to get a good pick-off here. But not so much happening after. And I mean, it's a best of 3. I understand this type of behavior. You really don't want to go out on one of these. Bounty Hunter has hit level 11, though. So that's something. And Witch Doctor has a crap ton of gold saved up. Lotus Orb, not amazing, not as amazing on the side of Cookies. Oh, we have somebody dying. Jalopy gonna be taking a lot of good damage. He, of course, does have that Satanic. He's Astral imprisoned up, and the lineup of Cookies running away. They scared him, you know? He still has a 10-second BKB. I believe both sides have 10-second BKBs. Yeah, we're 10 BKB city. Oh, does it show here? Oh, it does. That's so cool. I did not know it showed the seconds on the BKBs on that screen. You learn something new every day, and with that, maybe they're finally feeling empowered to give it a go. The Forge Spirits are out. The cold snap happening. Kefka decides to stop his fissure. They're just applying some pressure on Cookies. London Conspiracy know that they can chip damage this away. They got a lot on bottom tower last time. Top is also pretty, you know, it's taken some damage. And here comes the next push. Everybody buffed up. There's going to be a Tornado EMP. Will just hit on the Gyrocopter. Not even doing half of his mana. Everybody's so fed at this point in the game. The cooldown will hit once on S-Skill, but he'll walk on out to the edges. Oh, actually just walks back into it. And this tower, it's getting very low. Jalopy coming back in. He's got the tower.
Dire's middle tower.
And the auto attack. Enchantress misses. She's working on a BKB herself. That one's gonna hit. And here, they have to fight here on Cookies, or they lose a Rax. The range Rax, oh no, Kazu put into a really bad position. There's gonna be a BKB pop by Flens, the ult popping out from Pablo, but it's doing no damage to Jalopy. It's trying to bounce around. Baby Knight finally goes down. Flens has already used his Omni Slash, and he's gonna go down. Invoker coming back in, trying to get some work done, but it doesn't matter. His BKB is gone. Echo Slam on all of them, and they are dead. 5 buybacks coming out from Cookies, and suddenly London Conspiracy, they need to get the hell on out. Can Cookies gap close here? A cooldown gonna be showing. There is the Froggy onto Jalopy. He's going to take some damage here. Can they even hit him? The track shows him through that cloak. The Glimmer Cape not helping him out here, but he just butterfly flutters away, and they did not find anything. 5 buybacks into nothing for Cookies. Huge net worth gain for London Conspiracy.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, that's like over a 7k gold swing. 7.4. Wow, really well played there from London Conspiracy. Sure, they didn't get the racks, but they just put the timing so far back on everybody on Cookie's lineup. And now, London Conspiracy, who used to be called Princess Jalopy, they know they're in a good spot again. It's a really long respawn timer on that Roshan, so Cookies can't even take advantage of their slight map control for right now. And it's just not, I mean, it does feel a bit like their window has passed. They would need a team fight of dreams. Juggernaut now isn't going to be getting another item to replace that Sanjin Yasha, which at 47 minutes into the game isn't the most amazing of items. I don't. Okay, he picks up the butterfly, gets rid of the Aquila. I'm not sure what's the play here from Cookies. They haven't lost a racks, but being 14,000 net worth up behind. It does mean all of these next upcoming kills will be huge for them, but you have to find them first, and it's so hard to kill off London Conspiracy. They are moving always together. Cookies going in for it. They're going to run right into their smoke, and this is a really bad place to go into. They're going to run up high ground. Their smoke is broken. They know that they're there. You just can't afford these types of things. They know that the Roshan is up. Eskil should have seen it there. Also, it was max Roshan respawn timer, so at this level, everybody knows. And another smoke up for London Conspiracy. Of course, they also just used one there. I mean, it's hard. This game is... I think it's difficult for both teams. Cookies, I think, have to contest this Roshan. Or at least they feel that they have to contest this Roshan, or they're just giving it up for another push. We saw how without even the Aegis, the Gyrocopter was unkillable. The Sunstrike does come out, but not gonna be... Aegis is down. Invoker maybe just gonna throw out a tornado to harass. The cheese is picked up by the Chen. He's gonna take a lot of... Oh, nope. Just gonna force stealth away. Even the Astral Imprisonment to make sure he gets out just fine. They're trying to go for the wraparound on Cookies. Steph style, gonna scout them out. I like this play. London Conspiracy would expect them to be up in their base. And maybe somehow a team fight from behind can work out. Solon getting turned into a piggy, gonna take a full deafening blast. Now the BKBs is out onto Baby Knight. The buyback immediately from Solon. He knows that if they win this team fight, they can win the game. The Invoker, no longer a piggy, but they burnt the Aegis. There's gonna be a big Echo Slam call down, picking off their lines. There are no buybacks at this stage in the game for Cookies. They've already used them all up. The Juggernaut does manage to get the the Blink out, but they lose Pablo. They've lost too many. Eskill's gone, and that's GG. We'll be headed into a game 2. Well played there from London Conspiracy. Both teams incredibly patient. But London Conspiracy just doing a little bit better on those pushes and winning out in the end. So once again, folks, I'm Rama Down Under. We will have a partner next cast, thank goodness. And we'll be seeing you again shortly. Please enjoy. It's short wait while we get into the next lobby. I'll see you in a little bit.
Welcome back, everybody, to ESL 1 Manila qualifiers. We're here in the European division with Hellraisers versus Empire. You know, when you every single time I see you on camera, you just lack any and all like visual enthusiasm whatsoever. So you doing something like this just seems like
Doesn't seem as strong.
it just seems like a total farce.
I'm pretty tired right now, but
Me too.
We had a good
Blitz and I
meal.
just had a very good meal, which Blitz cooked.
mm-hmm.
It was very well put together.
Tried really hard for that one.
And now we're here to cast some Dota. So hopefully we have a very exciting game. Otherwise, guys, if the cast goes silent for any point in time, that's probably because Blitz and I passed out mid broadcast. So just a mid game nap or something. Hellraisers versus Team Empire. Blitz, what do you think about the pick so far?
Nothing too out of the ordinary. I think like Wisp is the only hero that is missing here that is like a tier 1 hero that they haven't really selected yet, but I think that's about it. I don't know if I know Empire plays it right. Like it's a Funnic hero, they might as well pick it here. Unless they're kind of afraid that HR have
5 seconds
a
remaining.
pre-built counter, but I kind of feel like Wisp is still worth a top 2 pick or ban.
Reserve time.
I don't know, what do you feel?
Enchantress.
Enchantress.
Okay. This is the other hero that
Dire team
has been this is such a weird hero because some heroes or some teams value it really highly
Yeah.
and others just don't even bother with it.
What I really like is the versatility of, I mean, you can run that pub style 3 position. You can do something like a safe lane Enchantress when you're running an aggro try. But you can also do the 4 position Enchantress. And the thing about that is even that is versatile. Because
10
you
seconds
you can
remaining.
be running some sort of dual lane. You can be running some sort of aggro dual lane with Enchantress
5
+1,
seconds remaining.
preferably some sort of frontliner. You can do an Enchantress that purely
Dire
jungles from the
team
beginning and moves around and ganks. I think I really value it in the first one too because I feel like there's enough versatility in the draft where even when you pick it up, the enemy team doesn't know what you're going to do with it.
10
Bad Rider is
seconds
going to be the
remaining.
response. Pretty good. Messes with the churn rate. Makes it
5
hard for Enchant to
seconds
get
remaining.
her frolicking spears off. Not sure though what else.
Reserve time.
I don't know. The Wisp is still available, but it doesn't look like either team is particularly interested in taking it. Trying to think right now. Venge is still there. Venge and Void, actually. Yeah, that's pretty surprising that neither of those have been chosen first 2. You take Venge just because she's so safe.
Team Empire's turn to ban.
Well, that's probably going to be one of the bans out from... oh, wait, I guess...
Alright, if you're HR, what kind of carry do you choose then? They banned out Slark.
10 seconds
It's
remaining.
probably one of the best heroes against Bat Rider, right?
5 seconds remaining.
You could just get a fighting hero like Gyrocopter. That's not good.
I'd like Jug.
Dire
Jug.
team
Oh,
ban.
yeah, that's a good one.
I'd really like Jug for Hellraisers, actually. One sec, I have to cough. How do I...
I got you, Blitz.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Spirit Break. Okay, so I was actually
Team
thinking that Team Empire
Empire's turn to ban.
are likely to pick up Spirit Breaker if it's still in the pool. Spirit Breaker Enchantress
makes for a really strong dual lane, and it's one of Havos's heroes. And if it's not that, I feel like it's probably going to be Tusk.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh man,
5
this is such a weird
seconds
draft. Like the fact that nobody's taking Wisp, nobody's taking Venge, nobody's taking
Reserve
Void.
time.
Yeah.
That's like,
where is the Faceless Void? What the
I mean,
hell?
Empire's probably not afraid of Void at all. They have
Yeah.
Enchantress Bane. Like you Chrono Spear the Enchantress, and then she kind of just like laughs. Not really sure what the last 2 picks are. There are 3 picks for either side. If you're Empire, I mean, if you're Hellraisers, I figured you would ban the Venge. So because the Venge is quite good against the
Empire's
Batrider
turn to
too.
pick.
But can they really fit a Venge into their lineup?
I guess you
You-
still
you
could as a
BB.
1 position, or like an
Oh,
off 2.
okay, yeah, I guess I can see that.
I guess it's not that great though when you run it as a 1
Yeah.
against the Bat. But it was just like a good overall hero that they didn't take. I don't know how strong Bane Venge is as an opening. Like that sounds a little bit weird to me. Both single
10
target. At least
seconds
both of them go
remaining.
through BKB, which is incredibly strong. But
5 seconds
aside
remaining.
from that, I don't think they have too much synergy.
Hey guys, we
Reserve
seem to be
time.
dropping some frames.
10
I've contacted
seconds remaining.
Twitch to see
Night
if
Stalker.
what the issue is. If the
Dire
stream goes
team
down,
pick.
I'll probably warn you guys. But we may drop the stream and put it somewhere. Change the server. That might be a bit of the issue.
I know absolutely nothing regarding this, guys. So, all that jargon that Austin just said, agree with it. Oh, they're going to take the Night Stalker. In response, HR, they're going to take the
Team
Zeus.
Empire's
This
turn
is such
to
a
pick.
strong team fight lineup from HR already. They've got Oracle, Batrider, Zeus. On the flip side, Empire have a lot of strong, like, single target presence. A lot of ganking involved too, with the Bane, Enchantress, and Night Stalker. That's a very active tri-core.
Mm-hmm.
The Enchantress, Night Stalker, I really like that combination too. Like, the Night Stalker can spot for the Enchantress, kind of like how snipers do, and then he just
10
sort of runs in,
seconds
tanks a lot of the damage, lets the Enchantress fling a bunch of spears, and
North American Dota. Grant, did you think that the last game, did it come down to just bad execution from Colossus? Did they just fail to, we talked about so many different kills where it was so close to being able to pick it up. They just had to execute a little bit better and got some of those early kills. It
10
wouldn't have been
seconds
such a one-sided battle.
Yeah, pretty much, especially against
5
a
seconds
lone druid
remaining.
Chen team. You can't be giving away like those early kills, especially when you're so close to getting them. You overcommit, and they
Reserve
outplay
time.
you a bit, and
I would say she's not as ideal here, because if you notice that so much of HR's lineup is working around the Enchantress,
Mhm.
it's all magic burst damage, which is what you need to beat the Enchantress, but I think Empire doesn't really care because they have Bane, Night Stalker, Viper. Like, they're just going to run at your lineup until you can't really keep up. And the map presence is definitely there for Empire too because of the Night Stalker. I like Empire's lineup. That's kind of the strength of the hero though, right? It's like, even as a 4 position, you
Yeah.
just pick up like Dragonlance treads and you run at people.
Well, it's that game that we were watching yesterday where they had
Solo?
2 wards placed.
Oh, Sovereign.
Yeah, Sovereign's
DC versus enemy.
Enchantress. Yeah,
Yeah.
they put so much effort into shutting out that Enchantress early.
She was like the only saving grace for that game in her team. The second game that they picked her, she went pretty ham. Like, she had the Axe Dragonlance and was able to just kind of right click like crazy and
Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
do whatever they wanted.
Team
Is our stream
Empire,
fixed? I see a
turn to
concerned
ban.
look on your face.
Yeah, it seems good. Since we switched servers, we haven't dropped anything, so. Witch Doctor now picked up for Hellraisers. Works really well with the Batrider. The pullback
10
into
seconds
Death Ward
remaining.
gets some really easy guaranteed damage.
5 seconds remaining.
And it's physical damage
Dire team
versus an
back.
enchantress as well.
Yeah.
That's also a really nice factor. Because part of the problem is that I've seen enchantresses when they're facing a lot of magic damage, like the first 3 pickups of HR, they go for
10
the
seconds remaining.
Hood of Defiance.
Really?
Yeah,
5
because the
seconds
change up that
remaining.
gives you the shell.
I see.
So just
They do this competitively?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Huh.
So
Reserve
the
time.
build will be like drums,
10
cloak,
seconds remaining.
Dragonlance, and then maybe the completed hood
Team
before
Empire,
Ags.
turn to
You know, when I was in Korea, there was a player that was really famous, this Korean guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 4K MMR, absolute garbage. But like I don't mean like 4K is terrible or anything, but that guy was not a good player. What he would do is he would rush a hood with no other items, with nothing else, with Enchantress, and go off lane and sit between your creeps and max untouchable. I hated that guy.
10 seconds remaining.
I remember the first time I played against it, I thought that guy was a jackass. I was like, this guy's so stupid. Just destroyed me.
He destroyed you?
We couldn't do anything.
You're just like, what do I do against this?
It was like me, Aosin, and Carl, or Solara, who's like another 7K
Yeah.
player. That guy owned us. Made us just look like a bunch of clowns.
You were like, this guy's such an idiot. Oh god, we're losing.
I called that guy garbage. I was like, this guy's complete garbage. Like, what is he doing? And then he just destroyed us. We literally can't kill him.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, the 2 heroes we talked about,
10 seconds.
Hellraisers banned away the Gyrocopter, but that means Team Empire got the chance to pick up the
5
Juggernaut. I
seconds
much prefer
remaining.
your Juggernaut pick.
They're just going to run at you.
Chaos Knight. Ooh.
This is a hero that I've seen Arteezy play like a ton
Yeah.
on stream lately.
So, what's different about Chaos Knight? That is there something different about the patch? I mean, there was that minus armor change to the crit, and that can feel like really powerful sometimes, but it's obviously a bit RNG. There's got to be something a bit more to it, right?
I mean, people are just kind of getting used to playing him more. He's a carry that doesn't really need a BKB immediately because he's naturally incredibly tanky. Before
Plan put together by Hellraisers.
Oh,
They're
gonna
going to
go
try
on
and go on Havost here. He does not have his level 2, so it looks like they should be able to burst him down with just the enchant. Oh, the slow attack speed, but Illidan still manages to pick it up and gets the first blood against Empire Havost.
That's going to be one of the few times that they're able to do that.
Squishy support hero at that point, if you're only level 1.
That was insane.
So Havost is going to play now in his own jungle, which leaves Funnick alone against this lane. Not particularly favorable, because he didn't have the opportunity to go like Boots or Iron Talon first, so he's going to be easily caught out. As you can see here, the setup there from Oracle, the follow-up with a Maledict. They will be able to get it. Gotham has come in, and he's going to try and counter this as best he can. He does have a Mango. If he brings Goretz low enough, he can actually one-shot him with his Purifying Flames at level 2, but it looks like Goretz will manage to stay ahead in the rotation. Won't come in time, I don't think, from the Zeus. He's making his way over now. Oh, he got another Purifying Flames, which means Apho, he just needs to get close enough with the Lightning Bolt. He's not going to be there. Goretz Spain is just such a fast hero with boots first. And Regen Rune is going to be picked up by Apho, but now Gotham's going to be in some serious trouble as he gets netted
Goretz
up.
is really low.
Man, no, Apho's just tearing him apart with this Arc Lightning first. Now Shachalo has come back into the fold. Will be able to take out Goretz first. And Havost was chased away.
I was wondering why he wasn't using his bolt. Then I realized that he's having such a hard time against this Viper
Radiant's
mid
top tower is
that
under
he's
attack.
actually only level...
Zeus entirely zoned out via Viper Strike.
You notice what FN's doing too? Okay, he's
Yep,
just going
there
to
he
force
goes.
the TP. And this is so big
TP, yeah.
because the Zeus isn't even 6, and two things are going to happen here. Either he just runs down mid again, and then he can put no pressure on the other side lanes, even with his ultimate because he doesn't have it yet. Or he goes to a different lane and tries to make something happen, but it's a level 4 Zeus, so he can't do that. And FN knows that he's going to force the TP, but it's just extra gold that you're going to have to waste because he has to buy a new refreshed one.
Mm-hmm.
And FN knows now, like, he can track where the Zeus goes and how he plays. So he knows that the side lanes aren't going to get any help. It's just like one of these things after another that add up. And Funnick, again, you notice at the same time he plays aggressively at top.
Ooh, Goretz is trying to get behind Aphos, so this time around, they got on the Zeus. Of course, his TP is still on cooldown, so Afo's he knows he has to play really far back. He's got Gotham behind him, but Gotham doesn't actually have Fate's Edict, so that won't save him from that much damage.
No. It's pure anyways, right? The Bane.
The Bane, yes, but I was thinking about the Viper Strike.
It doesn't have it anyways.
Yeah, so.
I mean, this Viper's getting pretty massive. When it comes
He
to,
really needs that Iron Talon.
I think in some ways, like, if you have melee supports like this, it's even bigger than getting it on some off lanes.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I've watched plenty of the 4-position Night Stalker with Iron Talon, and it just seems so effective.
Oh, this is a huge kill.
They really need this kill, and they're going to bring Illidan in to make sure that FN does go down. A 3-second stun, and there it is. Goretz thinking about coming in to try and get the defensive sleep off. Now has to use it onto Shotshell. Quickly woken up by the Oracle, which will keep up that sticky napalm on Goretz, slowing him down slowly but surely. Havos is now here. He does have Enchant. He actually is going to tank the bolt there, and they're going to turn on Havost instead.